Katherine. So, I just got back from my first ever cheerleading competition. Oh my goodness! So, I told you I would make you a video showing you the faces of the cheerleaders, and I thought, you know what? Because I doubt you have probably ever gone to a cheerleading competition in your life, and you probably never will, I thought I would just document my whole experience. Well, what I did. I didn't say the whole time. But I thought I would document my experience for so you could just feel how it is without actually going, you know. Although I would recommend that you experience it at least once in your life, because really, why not? I'll tell you why. But actually, it would be fun if I had a friend there to laugh with, but every single other person was either a cheerleader, or a parent of a cheerleader, or a sibling of a cheerleader, and they got just excited as the cheerleaders themselves. And I was the only person there that was like, normal. Well, I guess normal in that they would be normal and I'd be weird, but whatever. Was not psychotic, we shall say. So, I will start with my drive there. I left at like 5:20. I was like, oh, well, it starts at 6, because that's what time Julia, the soprano that was singing the melody, told me that it would be 6 o'clock. So, and it takes like 20 minutes to get there, and I was like, well, I have to get all my stuff on, so you love hearing this, don't you? Yes. Just sit back and relax and enjoy the show. So, I got in the car, and I was listening to the last 5 years, and I was like, I have not heard this in like a week or more. No, in a week. I usually listen to the last 5 years like every single day because I love it. By the way, 300 million? No, I don't even know how many. Enough Pegasus points. Enough points to get a Pegasus. Friend points. For you. For introducing me to Jason Robert Brown. Because, I love the last 5 years. Like, I was, like, freaking out. I was like, I love this so much. Like, I was, like, singing along to, what's it called? My favorite one. Number 5. I can't think of what it's called. It's the nights are fun, mule train to JB Land, handful after handful of Doritos. I'm a part of that. Boom, that's what it's called. And I was like, I almost started crying. I loved it so much. I was like getting so excited and all riled up because I was belting along in my car, and people in other cars were probably judging me, but I do not care. It is the last 5 years. It is Jason Robert Brown, officially my favorite composer. So, then I got to the parking lot, and I realized that I was like 20 minutes early, and I was like, no, I was like a half an hour early, because I got there really quickly, I don't know. So, I just like drove around like a giant square for like 10 minutes. I only went around once, but it like took me like 10 minutes because it was like a big one, because I was like, I'm not going there early. That's not happening. So I just listened to more last 5 years. Woo! And then I went in, and I did not know where the gym was because I go to Rockford, which is huge, and I don't do gym things. I've been there for a pep rally. I did jump rope for heart when I was a child. And we went there for tennis one time. One time we went in the gym. So I didn't know where it was. So I walked in and I went to the cafeteria because I know that's where the cheerleaders practice during the school days, because I see them there all the time. And then there were cheerleaders in there, like 8 teams, screaming. Not screaming. They don't scream. They yell because they do it like low, because otherwise it'll like sound like little girls or something. Oh no, you wouldn't want to be more annoying than you are. But, yelling, 8 different teams doing like 8 different performances or whatever they're called at the same time, but they're basically all the same. So and I was like, oh my goodness, because the cafeteria it's not that big. Like, we split our lunches into 3 people, so it's like 600 people per lunch, and like it barely fits everyone. So they're not that big. And so I was like, oh my goodness, I'm dying. And there were, like, tables of, like, food with, like, teddy bears with bows on them. And I was like, why? Why? Why is this necessary? This doesn't happen in tennis. Like, no. This needs to stop. And then, so I kept walking towards the sports side, because I knew the general area, but I didn't know where the gym was, even though we have, like, 2, I think. I don't know why we need 2 gyms. But then there was a janitor, and I was like, hello, do you know where the gym is? Or do you know where the cheerleaders are going? Because I saw them practicing in there, but it's not in there, is it? It's in the gym, right? Where's the gym? And then she, like, pointed me there, and then I walked in the door, and the lady was like, do you have a ticket? And I was like, no, I'm singing the national anthem. And she was like, oh, right this way. And I was like, okay, thank you. And, so then I went and I talked to my friend Kaylee, because Julia wasn't there yet, even though Julia was the one who signed up to do it, and I was just like, I'll do the alto part, I suppose. And, yeah, so then I had to, like, go to the locker room with Kaylee so I could get her phone number, because I didn't have her phone number. So then, finally, Julia got there, and this was when I was texting you, talking about how I was going to die, which I'm pretty sure I did, and I was reincarnated so I could make this video for you, warning you. And then, I found out that it did not start at 6 o'clock, like I was told. It started at 6:30. So I had to sit there and wait for a half an hour in the gym, which I don't like being in the gym, personally. I'm not a gym person, as you can see, as you know. And so, a gym full of cheerleaders practicing, no, not a fan. So I was practicing the national anthem, the alto part, with Julia, or as Kayla likes to call her, Julia. And, you couldn't hear us because the cheerleaders were practicing, like, screaming, not screaming, yelling. I apologize for all the cheerleaders in the world that I offend, obviously, constantly. And then, this girl from choir, her name is Becca. She comes over, and I think she's a cheerleader. Maybe she's not. I don't know. She hangs out with all the cheerleaders. The cheerleaders are the middles in the middle of the choir that talk and don't do anything and annoy everyone constantly. And Becca was like, she was like, oh my goodness, Elena, how are you always so calm? And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you know me? Obviously not. I am like a spaz. I am a spastic person, and you just call me calm. Like, what? What? I have this theory that if I don't like you, you think that I'm calm or shy. One of the two. Because all that I'm doing when I'm with you is thinking about how much I hate you and how much I do not want to be in that situation anymore so that I can get away from you. Because, oh, I hate her. I sat next to her in Spanish, and I was like, kill me. She never stops talking about, like, material things, like her little juicy cha, and, like, everything else on the planet, and I'm like, stop. And, like, her mom doesn't even work, so I don't see how that works, but, and then, she talks about that, or how she got caught once drinking, and then she's, like, not allowed to go over to people's house to sleep over, and I'm like, maybe you shouldn't drink, because it's illegal. Oh, did I tell you this morning, or this afternoon, I was walking to my car from school, every single person I passed was talking about either alcohol or, pot. Every single one. Like, I am ashamed that I have to be in this generation, and that's my, that's what, if everyone else is like that, people assume that I'm like that too, because they generalize everything. I am just ashamed for my generation, basically. So then we finally got there, and we got to sing, and I sang, and I was beautiful, obviously. And there were cheerleaders, though, that kept, like, turning around and, like, looking at Julie and I when we were singing. And I was like, turn around. This is the national anthem. You should be looking at the American flag and showing your patriotism. Like, isn't this all about cheerleading and, like, your team? Team America. Go Team America. Not whatever you're doing. Like, also just stop looking at me. It's weird. It's creepy. Like, it's okay if I'm performing and you're supposed to be facing me. Like, then look at me all you want. Look at me, don't look anywhere else, actually, if I'm supposed to be performing, because then it's rude. Rude. But then she was just like looking at me. I was like, there were several of them, and I was like, just why are you doing this? Just turn around. Just. And then, oh, they announced me. Oh my goodness, when they announced this, they were like, Julia is a cheerleader, but I clearly am not. Julia, they were like, now before the event starts, here come cheerleaders Elena Rohrig and Julia Bennett. And I was like, ha, ha, ha. Now people think I'm a cheerleader. Except for they probably don't, because obviously. So, that happened. And then people were like, oh my goodness, good job singing. That was beautiful. And then some guy, I don't know, I think he's high up in our school. Maybe, I think he does something sportsy. I really don't know who he is. I don't really care. No offense, but he was like, you guys should sing for the basketball team too. And I was like, no. Because then I have to stay for the basketball games too, which is not happening. So, no. Because at this point, I had realized that if I did not stay, I would look like a rude person. And I am not a rude person. So I had to stay. No. And, so, that concludes the events leading up to the thing. Now let's dive into the actual events, shall we? I thought I would just read the text that I sent Rachel, because then I can get an accurate representation of what actually happens, because otherwise I would forget it. So, and it starts, OMG, the facial expressions of these girls. It's like, okay, so this part, I was trying to explain to Rachel the expression of these girls, but when it's through text message, it's impossible to capture the of these girls. Like, and you know that I love facial expression, and I'm like, the more the merrier, even though I hate that expression. I'm like, yeah, facial expression. No, there is a point, but even I think that it's too much, because overacting is just as bad as underacting. Truth. But these girls, they just take that line and they throw it away and they just sprint past it, and it's like, oh my goodness. They're like, woo! And then they go, I don't even know what they say, but they're like, it's the big eyes that they're like, I know that I exaggerate everything, and I always say that but this is not an exaggeration. This is exactly their face, and they like, that is what I watched. That is cheerleading. Oh my goodness. And I'm not one to think that people are annoying, because I don't get annoyed easily. And, I personally, I'm kind of annoying. But, and, I was friends with one of the cheerleaders, but when, because they have a non-annoying side, but when you put them all together, their annoying side shows, and it is magnified. Oh, yes, but I explained to her, the way that I explained this to Rachel, how it was, it's like when you're a child, and your parents, are asking you to smile, and it's annoying. They're annoying you, and so you're just like, that is a very accurate representation of these girls. I said, it looks painful, really. It's like they're so happy they're angry. It was though. And then Rachel said she wanted to see it, and I was like, no, you don't want to see this. How does that sound like fun? I said, no, you really don't. And oh my goodness, I did not know that the audience, when the girls are cheering, they don't just let the girls cheer. They cheer back. The whole time. They're screaming, and they do the foot pounding thing, and it's like, oh my goodness. Just let them be. Just let them scream, yell. Just let them yell. you couldn't even hear what they were saying. Like, but it didn't really matter because all cheers are the same. They're the same. They use expressive adjectives, and then they talk about how much they're gonna win. That's every cheer ever, and they go do 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 do. That's the rhythm. Every single cheer that was there, every single one. Oh my goodness, the time's gonna run out. I'll make a second video. Oh my goodness, continuing.